Ever since Angelina Jolie wrote about her double mastectomy in the New York Times, it seems DNA testing has found its way back into the American zeitgeist. MEDomics. We are in Azusa, California with Dr. Steve Sommer of MEDomics, and what you do is so fascinating. Next generation DNA sequencing. Explain that for people.
DNA is the genetic material, and it's composed of a linear array of nucleotides in a double helix. DNA is the music of life, and what sequencing does is reads the notes one by one of each of the life symphonies that we carry. We carry about 20,000 of them, and those scientists call genes, and that's what I do in my clinical practice. MEDomics is part of my clinical practice. It's the lab component of it, and something called next-gen or next-generation sequencing has revolutionized our ability to read the life symphonies. We can read them thousands of fold faster than we could before. We're looking for disharmonies, either disharmonies that cause autism or epilepsy or intellectual disability or energy deficiency due to mitochondrial disease. The mitochondria are our energy factory.
So you're the COO around here. What does that entail?
That's right. We're trying to take care of first of all, of course, of our customers, the patients, and our client physicians.
And now I understand scientifically your background is in mitochondrial disease?
That's right. I embarked on the mitochondrial odyssey. I'd say it was in 1982 when I did my first postdoc, and I sequenced the mitochondrial genome at that time.
Dr. Sommer had been working at the prestigious Mayo Clinic for many years before the City of Hope convinced him to come to California to head up their laboratory. But ultimately, Sommer wanted to do something that was less research-oriented and more about transforming lives. Enter MEDomics.
I'm one of the team members that's involved with interpretation of the masses of data that we get from the solid. This is our solid instrument. This is where the actual sequencing takes place. The samples are put onto slides which go into each of, this is room for 2 separate slides, and it automatically goes through the process of sequencing millions and millions of times of each part of the DNA that's put in there. It's very exciting because we feel like we're helping people.
Primarily what I'm responsible for is supervising the laboratory, the intake of clinical samples, preparing those samples for running on our DNA sequencer here, supervising the DNA sequencing run, and some of the post-sequencing analysis that we do.
Now we're here with Bill Scaringe, and Bill is the co-founder of MEDomics, and I understand you do the bioinformatics. What is that?
That's the analysis of the data that comes off the sequencing instrument. It's a massively parallel set of data, many gigabytes of data, and it's like basically a big jigsaw puzzle that we have to put together.
Now I know you don't look for genes that contribute to breast cancer, but since so many women are worried about this and so many women can go in and be tested to find out if they have the mutation, I think it's on BRCA1 or BRCA2, how scary and wonderful is that this has become like being able to look into a crystal ball?
Breast cancer, like most other common diseases, have multiple genes that can predispose. BRCA1 and BRCA2 that you mentioned are just 2 of the genes. They were among the first. BRCA1 and BRCA2 are just the tip of the breast cancer iceberg.
The whole field of personalized medicine is really exploding now, and the ability to find particular variants in an individual's genome and associate that with better efficacy of a certain drug, or to be able to pick from a shelf of drugs, the one that will work for that individual. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're going for, and to find the appropriate action that's good for that individual, instead of just choosing something that's general for the population, which is kind of the old school medicine.
And what if someone were trying to find you? How would they find you?
www.MEDomics.com. MEDomics, the med is for medicine, but it's also mutation expert-based diagnosis. And omics, the genomics era. The genome is the totality of our musical symphonies.
More and more we find ourselves looking to laboratories like MEDomics so that we can at least arm ourselves with the most valuable thing of all, knowledge.